We are here with the Dixon Bulldogs basketball coach. That is Scotty Ballard here, and Coach Ballard, coming into the season here, you have you don't have quite a few girls, but you got a young team, I imagine, there.
Yeah, we have 4 sophomores and 3 freshmen. I thought we were going to have 9, and we lost 2 in conditioning, and that's fine. We need to focus on other stuff, and we're down to 7, but all 7 of these girls have played for a long time and been together through the whole process. And I figured by the end of the season, that's what we'd be down to anyway, is our true core 7. But I'm excited about them. They don't act like sophomore and freshmen, that's for sure.
Well, the numbers have kind of been that way the last few years at Dixon, so it's not really. The biggest fear is you get a game where you get a lot of fouls early, and that kind of limits what you can do. But
yeah, it definitely makes it hard on us because we want to play a lot of full court pressure style basketball up tempo, and that leads to fouls. And we'll have to watch foul trouble because I could get in foul trouble real quick with only 7 early and having to go to my bench.
Yep.
But we'll have to be cautious of that. And that's one thing we've really been talking about in practice a lot.
And then coming into this season with the young team there, you have, who are some of the key players this year that are going to help, with Dixon here as, Frisco League, obviously.
Right. All of them probably will have some sort of role in our system as far as that goes. But we have 3 returning starters, 3 sophomores that had to start as freshmen. Lack of JV leads to them having to play varsity minutes right away, which for me that's going to be better that they had varsity time this year. Of course, I'd love to have a JV, but now that they do have the experience at varsity, it's going to probably impact us tremendously. Those 3, and all 3 of them know the game and played with us for a while, so I'm excited. And then, of course, my 3 freshmen had a pretty good, successful basketball career up to this point through rec ball, middle school, and so on. They haven't lost many games their entire life, and they're going to be a lot of help.
All right, and then the first game against Stillville, and then you have the Frisco League tournament every year, which is one of the more unique tournaments in Missouri there. You don't see a lot of conference tournaments like that anymore. Kind of a college style there where you got your tournament champion, then you have your regular season conference champion.
Yeah, the Frisco League girls side to me is going to be pretty stacked somewhat. We have teams that aren't going to be as good as they was in the past, but still there's other teams that are better. It just seems like you don't know what's going to happen on any given night. I think you don't know who's going to be who.
Well, the seeding of that sometimes works out, but there's almost always, for example, a Stoutland team that boys and girls can make it to the winning side of the bracket when they're, according to the bracket, they shouldn't be on the winning side of the bracket.
Yeah.
And then you always have quite a few of those teams that really come out and just kind of grow early in the season and surprise some people. But Crocker is the top seed in that tournament there, and no stranger to Crocker. About a 10-minute drive down 133, and
yeah, Crocker deserves to be the one. I voted him 1, and there's no doubt. I think it should have been easy across the board for everybody to vote them as the 1. They have the most experience and most returners. They'll be a tough team.
And Crocker coached by a district champion and I believe a quarterfinal basketball coach at Waynesville. Tom Billner over there. He's done a great job coming out of retirement and really doing a good job with that Lady Lions team this last couple of years.
Yeah, he's done a good job with them. Pretty good team and had some success.
Yep. Now you're looking at, like I was mentioning, Stillville and then you've got some pretty tough games out of conference also. I believe St. Elizabeth is one of the opponents.
We'll have some tough games. Vienna ain't no slouch either. They have a pretty good team. We'll have to play Vienna. They returned a lot of the talent they already had. Stillville's first, like you said. That's why I'm here tonight. Had to come over and do a little scouting. My old buddy Gamble's back at Stillville. He was always fun to coach against. One of my good coaching buddies from the past, and it's going to be fun to get to go against him again.
And
it's always
Stillville came out, showed some pretty good resilience out here, and I think they'll be a pretty tough team, but we'll be live.
First game in the Frisco.
Yep, and then we'll be live on Allen Hilliard Sports from that game on that Tuesday there. So that'll be live on YouTube there. That is our game of the week, I believe, that week.
Fly away. It's the first time of today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need.
We are here with the Waynesville boys basketball coach, and you got quite a few of the same kids coming back this year. You got, I believe, Shelton. You've got Gonzalez and Black among the others that are also moving up there. So kind of how's it, I think your second year here, the head coach?
Yes.
So kind of how's that work upon last year since you got quite a few of the same kids?
Yeah, Alan, so we bring back 90% of our varsity minutes in Brandon Jackson, Jerome Shelton, Omar Gonzalez, Cody Black. And that's exciting to have those guys back that had some sort of experience either starting a varsity game last year or playing meaningful minutes for us. So we think that core group right there, Jaden Reynolds, that'll be a good group for us to be able to rely on when it comes time for us to get into some meaningful varsity basketball action. So, but year two has been good. I feel like it's not as much of a whirlwind as it was last year. At times last year, we felt a little bit overwhelmed as a staff just trying to find our way around all the new changes. But this year has been, we know what to expect. So it's been a little bit more streamlined, I guess you could say. So.
All right, and your schedule is basically the same as last year. Not a lot has changed on it. So how do you, knowing what your schedule is from last year, a lot of the teams are, very competitive. So, your schedule's fairly going to be about what are you expecting it to be like last year? Are you expecting an improvement over last year on some of the tournaments and games?
Well, we did pick up the Pocahontas Classic down in Arkansas. We're going to go see Coach Pills playing Rivercrest and Mammoth Springs down there December 12th and 13th. We also picked up Branson this year for an out-of-conference game. They're going to be challenging. But I feel like our out-of-conference schedule and our conference schedule is very tough. We picked up Hazelwood East and Northwest Cedar Hill. So we're bringing down two other Class 6 teams for our Route 66 shootout. And then the COC conference is just tough. I mean, from top to bottom, I don't think that there's really a team that you can overlook. Neosho is going to be tough. Lebanon's tough. Central, Ozark, Nixa, Kickapoo. Those are all really tough teams. Willard, Carthage. And those games are on the road as well. So we'll bring Kickapoo home this year. We'll bring Central's away. I'm trying to think of our home away games here. Sorry, I don't have a schedule in front of me. But it's just a brutal schedule. But I feel like with these year two guys that are now juniors, seniors. We're not really relying on sophomores to try and get it done. I think that, we should be a little bit more competitive. So.
All right, and then starting out, your Jamboree is on Thursday of the Jamboree week, and that will be up at Webster Groves, very similar to last year.
Yeah, DeSmet and Principia come up, as well as Webster Groves. There's a lot of talent in that gym on that night. There's a lot of high-caliber basketball that's being played. we like to go figure out where we're at pretty quick when we go up there. Last year we learned a lot about ourselves, and we were able to come back and change up some of our practice routines and focus on areas of weakness and improve on areas of strength. So we're really looking forward to going back up there again and seeing what we're made of pretty quick, and then making those adjustments before we get the season started.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. Good luck in the Jamboree. And where do you start your season at?
So we will kick off December 2nd at home against Neosho. So we're going to have a COC game right off the bat, East versus West. So that'll be a good time.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Coach. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Fly away. It's the first time of today. To dream,
Touchdown.
believe.
That is a
You are the
big
strength,
run.
you're all I need.
And we are here, the boys basketball coach from Rolla High School here. So, Coach, it's that time of year again where basketballs are back out.
Yeah, how about that? I love it. This is my time of year. And I know it's your time of year too, buddy. This is your kind of thing.
Absolutely there.
You're the sports junkie, but you absolutely love basketball, don't you?
I'm doing a football game tomorrow for free in St. Louis.
Let's go.
But, anyways, so how's this year's team looking? Is it a lot of new faces? I know you have Ethan Brown committing there to Illinois.
He's not a bad player.
No, he's a good player.
Actually, we have 9 seniors and 1 junior on our varsity team, and so we return a lot of guys with a lot of experience, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you are the opposite of the girls team this year.
They've got a youth movement going on, don't they?
They're a big freshman team this year.
Yeah, they do, and plus they've got some good returning players. I think Riley Dodson's an all-stater returning. Her and Mariah are both really solid players. But yeah, they've got Madison Hutton is a girl that's going to be known by everybody before it's all said and done. She's still young. She's just sophomore this year, but she's a big-bodied girl that's really athletic. She's a volleyball player, got a lot of hops. She can shoot the basketball from the perimeter. And then you add in those freshmen who are one of the best freshman classes around. It's good. They're going to have a fun season this year.
I imagine there. And then without a conference, your schedule is kind of sometimes all over the place, I guess. Is that kind of how you describe that? Or have you kind of targeted Eastern Missouri? Or is it?
I'm not sure about the girls. The girls, there is a little bit different than we both kind of set up our schedules according to the type of team that we have. Last year we wanted to get a high level of competition going, so we added schools like DeSmet and Principia, Battle to our schedule, and we've got those same schools again this year. The girls I know added Nixa to their schedule. They play Helias out of the gate. So yeah, but we both better have pretty good teams, or we're going to have a struggle this year.
And then, of course, you start out with the Bluefish shootout there. Who's your opponent?
So we go against Pacific in the Bluefish shootout. The girls have Helias. And from talking to Coach Parker, Helias is a pretty salty team.
Yes, they are a very good team. Well, in football right now, they are a nightmare for most teams in Class 6 right now.
Yeah, they're a good football team, that's for sure.
But obviously, since I've seen you last, the technology, video quality and stuff has improved a little bit there. Hopefully, that's to your standards.
It looks solid, buddy. You're spending lots of money on your tech.
There's lots of money in some of this stuff here. And some of that stuff is already broken, so that is how that works.
That's part of it, isn't it?
That is part of it.
Well, you're doing a good job, and I hope people appreciate what you do, because, it's like you said, you're doing a freebie tomorrow, and it's, man, I hope people appreciate when somebody goes and takes their time to serve people like you're doing. It's a good thing.
And then the Rolla Holiday Tournament, you have some new opponents, I believe, in that. The few changes coming.
Yeah, we do have some changes. I know we've got Eugene in the tournament this year. Let's see. Now, the girls' side I can't really speak to, but I know on the boys' side we've got our usual Waynesville, Warrensburg, St. Pius has been in it for a long time now. We do have Chris Miller is bringing his Fox team in, and then Eugene, Mexico will be in it. It'll be solid competition.
And of course, we'll have the games at S&T over there as usual. So.
Yep. Are you covering those?
Yep.
Nice.
Like always over there.
Good. Well, I got to get out of here, man. I got to go get some. We got our shoe order in today, and the guys are anxious. They're paying their money, and they're anxious to get their team shoes on. So, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it, buddy.
Not a problem there, and we'll see you later on in the season.
Sounds good. Good to talk to you, bud.
Yep.
Fly away. It's the first time of today.
Touchdown. That is
You are the
big
strength, you're all I need.
And we are here. I think I was muted that whole time, but didn't miss anything. Anyways, we're here with Coach Snicker, the Waynesville girls coach now. And Coach Snicker, kind of how is it coming back? I know, since you last coached, we did add a three-point line.
Well, I mean, I played when there was no three-point line, but we've had a three-point line ever since I coached. So, but that's a good one, though. I say the girls, our effort and our energy was good tonight for the first game. We still have to knock the rust off of some stuff from not being in the gym but for 9 practices, before the jamboree. So I think we have some positive stuff that we saw, and there's some stuff that we knew we had to work on. We haven't had fully time to fix, and so press break and those things are something that we still know we have to, still put a lot of emphasis on. So we'll get better this week.
All right, and then, you have some returning starters there, and several of them shine from outside and playing some pretty good defense out there, too. Some of the returning players, anyway.
Yeah, like I said, there was everybody I thought had good energy, great effort. Hustle was there, running up and down the floor. Just the little things of decision making and timing of shots. We still haven't talked a lot about shot selection. We do have a green light shooting program, and we haven't finished all of those and who has what shot selection to take. So there's still some roles to be established there. That will clean up some of the stuff that we had, but overall, we worked the ball around. We got some good shots, and like I said, the effort was there.
All right, and then you're coming off pretty much a football season, so you haven't really had much of a break, if anything. I think you went straight from football to basketball over a weekend.
Yeah, that's true, but I doubled up a couple nights too when we got to have our open gyms, with your couple hours a week, to work with the girls. On now, we try to do a lot of individual, development stuff. So the actual practice stuff just came right after football. So I had Saturday and Sunday, and then we got after it on Monday. So it was good. It's fun. It keeps me young,
All right. So looking at some of these opponents here, you've obviously been an administrator for a little while there, so you've been here to Rolla quite a bit. And now, how was it facing a Stillville team that maybe you haven't quite seen there? Now, you do recognize, obviously, the coach there.
Yeah, I recognize Campbell. I didn't know he was there at first. I didn't know anything really about Stillville. I know that the girls played them last year in the St. James tournament. Coach told me he thought they'd be in zone. We really hadn't gone over a bunch of zone stuff. So we kind of struggled in that second quarter when it came to that. Lived outside a little too much without, flashing in the high post and in the short corner, but we can fix those things. So it was good to see something different in the zone where we know, hey, all right, we got to work on some stuff with our zone offense and then pressing, and so that was good. Last time I've been to Rolla, really as a coach, was against Elias in the districts when I was at Osage as a coach for the boys. So that was at the old gym. So it's a nice atmosphere here with the new gym, and like I said, look forward to kind of finding out what we got to do with their pressure that they're going to put on us.
All right, any of the freshmen or some of the JV players from last year, any of them working their way up in the process, or is that something that you're still going through right now?
We're still trying to figure out. We're looking at who's fully on varsity, what our JV looks like, and our C team type of thing. But we do know that we got some younger girls some minutes tonight already to try to just kind of see, get them to see what it looks like at least. We had some good leadership out there from returners. Pleased with that. The more we get our body language to keep positive and keep trying to do the things of a portrait of a tiger that we believe in with their leadership and positive thinking and hard work, resiliency, those things, and teamwork and respect. We'll keep growing throughout the year, so I'm pretty pleased of where we started and the direction that we're headed.
All right, and then schedule-wise here, you are in, again, the COC, a very tough conference there, and I don't know if Rolla's made theirs a whole lot easier. They have some Nixa on there too, and Marshfield, and they've added Elias, but you play quite a few of those teams yourself, and so how is coming in, coaching into the COC here that you've seen these teams, so you now get a chance to go on the other side of the court with them as a coach?
Yeah, we welcome the challenge. We talked about toughness and competitiveness, already at the beginning of the season, that we needed to be tough and we had to be able to compete and we had to work together. And so we're going to need all those things in the conference, and so we look forward to those challenges and see if we can get better each night. We started the Marshfield tournament with Marshfield, so that's going to be a challenge in itself, but that's the only way we're going to get better is to play good teams.
All right, appreciate it, Coach, and we will see you later.
Fly away. It's the first time of today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need.
All right, we are here, and welcome here to the Jamboree. We're here with Coach Parker. Coach Parker, it's that time of the year again when the basketballs come out, not just in your PE class, and start having some games.
Yep, that's right. It's that time of year. We're anxiously waiting for that first game, and I'm glad for this time of the year to be around.
Now, one thing, you got a pretty steady base of kids. You have quite a few from last year coming back, or?
No, we're young this year. I graduated 3 girls off last year's 24-5 team, and this year is plumb full of young kids. I have 1 senior, 1 junior, and the rest are sophomores and freshmen. I got 11 freshmen on the team.
So you have hopefully a rather good freshman group, I would imagine. They had a good middle school group last year, so
yeah, they're a good squad, good freshman group. They still got a lot of learning to do. A lot of experience behind them that they gotta adjust from the 8th grade to the varsity level now to the high school level, and that'll be a little adjustment for them. But they're warriors, man. They battle every day, and some of them played a lot of basketball. So for being young, we're still kind of a veteran team.
So how do you adjust from a older team the last few years to a very strong freshman team? Do you have to adjust practice any for that, or is that
Patience.
something that is just kind of brought up from the junior high level?
No, patience. Patience is the biggest thing you got to adjust, because they're, as far as junior high, we still do stuff, the same stuff at junior high that we do in high school. So they're used to what we do defensively and offensively, but as far as work ethic, that's a big change from junior high to high school with expectations, and that's been their biggest adjustment has been, their expectations of what I have for them, and they're finally, the first couple of days was pretty rough on them, but now they're finally starting to click a little bit.
And I imagine the scheduling a little bit different than the junior high with travel, and you face some tough teams that they're probably not used to playing.
Yeah, I even went out this year and added some teams. We went out and we added Nixa, Marshfield. Marshfield was a quarterfinalist last year, returned everybody. We added Logan Rogersville, returns everybody off a Final Four team. We added Helias, who went to the Final Four last year. Marquette got in our tournament. MICDS out of St. Louis, they have the #2 recruit in the state. Added them on there. Hickman, I loaded down our schedule, to help prepare us and prepare us for that overall goal of what we want to achieve.
Okay, and mentioning the tournament this year, they're talking about the Rolla Holiday Tournament. Is there any other changes in that, or is that just kind of Marquette the only difference?
Yeah, Marquette, Webb City both got in it this year. Grain Valley and Jonesboro got out, and Marquette and Webb City got in it this year. We still return St. Pius, Fox, Hazelwood, Waynesville. It'll still be a pretty solid tournament,
And that's, of course, one of those tournaments where, not only to get to play here, but you get to go over and play at SMT and get to experience kind of a college gym and the difference in size, which it's a difference in a game that you notice if you're not used to it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that SMT works with us and allows us to come in and use their facilities, but they work with us, and kids enjoy playing over there and getting experience playing on a college floor, and it just makes for a good tournament, both boys side and girls side.
Now some of the teams here tonight, you have Waynesville that has probably played Rolla 100 times in basketball, but then you have Stillville down there. How do you go against, even in a jamboree, how do you match up to a Stillville team that you really may only see on video playing? You had a son that played in Dixon, where that would be the only time you're really seeing them.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with Stillville, being from Frisco League and playing against them years ago, but Phil Gamble took over for them, and he does a nice job with them. They got a nice group, but jamborees for me is not winning losses. Every girl's going to get in and play tonight. It's just we've seen each other now for 10 days, and we just need to see somebody else and see where we are and see what we need to work on, and that's what I focus on more is, just where our weaknesses are going to be and where we need to go to improve next week to get ready for game 1.
Okay, now starting the season here, I believe, or you have a game first, or is your first game the Bluefish Shootout?
Bluefish Shootout, Friday night against Helias.
Now that is always a very strong shootout overall. You have some really good matchups during that.
Yeah, there's really good teams in it this year. You got Tipton playing West Plains. St. James is playing Cap City. We're playing Helias. Willard's playing Troy. You got some Frisco League schools in it. It's be some good basketball.
All right, appreciate it there, and good luck in the
yes, sir. Thank
shootout
you.
there.
So how's the video there look, though?
Fly away. It's the first time of today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need.
we are here with Steve Risler, the Licking Girls head coach. Coach Risler, you've been coaching for, it's been a while now, and you've been through a couple graduation cycles here, and you're having one of those where kind of the remnants of those state championship teams is starting to graduate off and has graduated off. And so how do you look into a season like this where you got a lot of young kids coming in, and the young kids very successful at that?
Yeah, we're just going to try to simplify things and make it as easy as possible for the younger kids to transition to the varsity level and have success. So we've cut the playbook down dramatically. We're just going to stick to one basic defense, one basic offense, and just try to be really good at that so they don't have to think really. They can just play and use their athleticism.
All right, and then obviously basketball season, jamboree season, it's that couple weeks now, week and a half, where all the teams get their jamborees in here. Did you have yours, or is yours coming up? And if it did, how did your team do so far?
Yeah, we played at Fatima on Friday night with Blair Oaks and Fatima, and we did okay. It was, I think, it's not really for score, but we won our fair share of quarters, and got to play a bunch of kids and got to look at a bunch of different things, and then we got to play against two pretty good programs that did multiple defenses, ran multiple stuff. They played a bunch of kids also, so it was a good night for sure.
All right, and then also the coming in, you have the normal Frisco League tournament as usual every year. I think you are the 4 seed. You're right in the middle, if I remember right on that. 3 or 4 seed, somewhere in that middle bracket range of it. But, how do you go into this year looking at some of the teams have really jumped around in the seeding this year compared to where they normally have been in the past?
Yeah, we're the 4 seed, and we drew Dixon, who will be they'll be young. They've got that real good group that's freshmen now in high school. So nobody really knows what to expect from them yet, but I think they're going to be solid. And then Crocker, everybody kind of knew Crocker was going to be the 1 seed. They returned the most, had a successful year last year, and added some decent freshmen also. So, and then I think 2 seeds Iberia, he had an undefeated JV season last year, and they actually won the conference and the conference tournament. And then Richland returns Moss and Cardoz, and they're the 3 seed.
Okay, and then looking at your schedule coming up, any big games? I know you like to schedule some pretty tough competition out of your class to get yourself ready for particularly the postseason, where the games can get very tough, along with some of the area games. You got some rivalries down there in Texas County, and some of those teams closer to you down there that the northern teams don't have in the Frisco League.
Right, yeah, I'd say one of those teams is Thayer. They've become a Class 2, Class 3 power in the last 10 years or so, and they're going to be good again. We don't play them till late. I think early we opened with the rivalry game against Salem in the Big Cat Classic. We played boys and girls on the same night. I think it starts at 4 o'clock, and then we play JV, varsity. So it's a pretty cool night. And then we always have our rivalry with Houston, but it's just based on location. We're 15 miles from Houston and 20 miles from Salem, so that has a lot to do with it.
Now, one thing I noticed down in this area is there's a lot of tigers and wildcats, and well, there's not very many bobcats, but Thayer's a bobcat, but there's a lot of cat animals in this part of Missouri.
Yeah, I think, back when schools were being built, they must have had an obsession with cats or something. I don't know.
Because even some schools that used to be Tigers changed their names because everyone else was Tigers back in the 1920s through the 1950s.
I didn't know that.
Yep, Camdenton was one of them. They used to be the Orange and Black Tigers. So think what that rivalry could have looked like for Waynesville if they didn't change their mascot. Could have been an interesting rivalry. But anyways, do appreciate your time here, and we will talk to you during the Frisco League tournament, and I'm sure you'll stop by, or hopefully you'll stop by during one of the games you're not playing in, and give some words of advice like always.
Yes, I'll come talk to you.
All right. So when is your first ball game, official ball game? Is it Frisco League tournament, or do you have a
No, Salem.
the Salem games before the tournament then?
Yeah, we just play Salem on the 25th. That'll be, and then we'll play on that opening Saturday in the fourth game against Dixon.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I will be there, and it'll be live on Allen Hilliard Sports also, along with,
Right on.
I believe, I think Lakeway will also have a huddle feed coming out and possibly some radio. So plenty of coverage to watch, and we will talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Alan.
Yep.
Thanks for your coverage.
Yep.
Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need.
All right, we're here with the Tuscumbia coach, the school that is local here, but they're just kind of just far enough away that you kind of drive through there and forget about them sometimes. But Tuscumbia there in Miller County, and so coach, you know, kind of how's the jamboree look after your practice so far from what you've seen?
Yeah, you know, this is the first time being with the girls. We have everybody returning from last year. We have a few girls that decided not to come out this year, which kind of hurts us a little bit because they definitely would have helped us a lot. But overall, you know, we're young. Last year they had a lot of freshmen. This year we got a lot of sophomores that are still learning. And so, you know, it's just a learning curve. It's really today for the jamboree. All we wanted to do was just kind of see where we're at. And, you know, there were a lot of great things that we did, and there were a lot of things that we have to work on. And it's a good thing that the basketball season is a long season, so we can work on those and hopefully get better. That's the goal, is always get better each and every game.
All right, and then, you know, looking ahead there, what's your schedule looking like starting the season here? I'm actually not sure what conference you're in there, but is it, do you start pretty early, or do you kind of not wait till December before you start your games?
No, we start Friday. We got Climax Springs. We got boys and girls Friday night at home against Climax Springs, and then we play Bell on next Tuesday. So we go to Bell. We got Versailles at home on Monday, and then we have a little break for Thanksgiving, and then we're hitting it hard. We got New Bloomfield the week after that, December 1st, and then we go to Wheatland December 2nd. And so we really don't play our conference games until later. We're in the Show Me Central Conference. It's a new conference. This is the second year since it was the Show Me Conference, where like Eugene, Russellville, and all of them were in it. Now they're all out of it. So we got some schools from a little bit north, like Bunston, Prairie Home, Chamois. So we got to travel a little bit, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're getting kicked off with some Class 1 schools and some bigger schools that will help us out a bunch.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. Good luck in the season.
All right, thank you so much.
Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need.
All right, we are here with Philip Gamble, the girls' coach at Stillville this year. So, Coach Gamble, how are things down? Moved from Licking to Stillville there, kind of a change of scenery a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it's a big change of scenery, and we made the move as a family several months ago, and you know, family's real happy with where we're at. It's a great school district to work for, working with some great girls playing basketball, of course, and great community, really. Just a real friendly community. A lot of great people here, and we're happy. Our family's real happy.
All right, and then I was at the Jamboree. You were playing Rolla and Waynesville there. Looked pretty decent there. Some of the girls seemed like they were starting to get in things, and you were working some new things in it. Looked like things were starting to click pretty well.
Yeah, and we've got some really good, fundamentally sound players. This group of girls right here that we have, with the exception of a couple graduates last year. I mean, they played in state quarterfinals last year. They were playing some pretty good basketball at the end of the season last year, and there's some girls there that are fundamentally sound. They're hungry basketball players. I mean, they love the game of basketball, and they're just eager to learn, and they've been 100% bought in since day one, and really couldn't ask for anything more from a group of girls or a group of players. Just like I said, we worked some things in that Jamboree the other day, and I thought we looked pretty good in some areas, and there's some areas we need to work on, and we worked on some of that stuff this morning, and like I said, the girls are willing to, they're just willing and eager, very coachable. So, I'm real proud of our progress so far.
All right, and then we'll have, of course, your first game is, I believe your first game is against Dixon. I don't think you have a game before that.
Yeah, we play next Tuesday, 25th, here in Stillville, Stillville High School. Our girls play, and then our boys play. So it's going to be a fun, great night to get the season kicked off. Girls have started off. Not sure about that first game start time, and then the boys JV and the boys varsity play, and it's going to be a great way to get the season kicked off. I know Dixon's got two really good teams over there, boys and girls, and I think it's going to be a great start for us, a great challenge right off the bat. I know Coach Ballard over there at Dixon does a great job, so we're looking forward to it.
All right, and then besides the first game there, what kind of follows that up as you don't have a conference schedule like you did in the Frisco League where you start out playing all your conference schools in a tournament, or most of them. So what's kind of your schedule look like going into Christmas at least?
Well, we're going to be challenged right off the start here this season. We've got 4 straight home games to start the season. We're going to play, of course, Dixon next Tuesday. Then we play North County. And then we play St. James, and then we play Richland, and all 4 of those games are at home. And then we go off to the Park Hills Christmas tournament over Christmas break. So our first 7 or 8 ball games are going to be challenges right off the bat. And like I said, with our kids, with the girls coming in, with their willingness, I mean, they practice hard, they play hard, so. It's just going to make us better for the season.
All right, and then looking in probably districts, if they're anything like volleyball, you may have a chance at going back to Dixon for districts again, or having Dixon and very similar teams in your basketball district again.
Yeah, that district has not came out. That information has not came out yet, but it looks to be, with Dixon not co-oping with Newburgh this year, that'll move them more than likely back to Class 3, which would, it probably more than likely put us in the same district with Dixon. So, next Tuesday, that much more important because it's a district game, which could help with the seeding part of it coming toward the end of the season, and then again, we could get sent north. I know Stillville's been sent north over the years for districts, so there's no telling, the way it'll come out. But however it comes out, we're just going to have to, you're really in control of your own destiny. You get out each night and you have a chance to outscore your opponent, or you have a chance not to. So, of course, the goal is always to outscore your opponent. And and that's going to be our goal there, is to come out and win the effort battle each night and be the most fundamentally sound team, and try to outscore our opponents each night.
All right. And I've always been told and use the old adage that it's better to win the games and have to sit there at the end of the season and hope someone's going to lose a game to make a playoff. So it's better to get the job done when you're in control than it is to wait for someone else to do it.
You're exactly right, and that's kind of the point I was getting to there too. Is you're always in control of your own destiny, especially with the game of basketball, and you gotta play and beat the teams that you're playing against, and really let everything fall into place.
All right, appreciate that, Coach, and good luck. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
We are here with the Iberia coach, a Dixon native there, Coach Holger.
Yes, sir.
So, Coach, kind of how's the Rangers looking this year?
We're young, and so, we bring back 2 returning starters from last year, but, everyone else that we've got has been filling up a step of what we've lost. So, we lost 3 starters who equated about 50 points of our offense, and so we've got some experience, but, most of the guys coming up are really young, so I think we're long, athletic, and, we got to do all the things well that doesn't require skill, like toughness, effort, and so we're an exciting group. We're young, but I think they're ready to accept the challenge for that.
All right, and then you're getting ready for the Frisco League tournament, but you're also playing Tuscumbia here for a pre-Frisco League matchup, I guess.
Yep.
One of your, very close neighbors, I guess.
Yeah.
So how's Tuscumbia matchup compared to, seeing the Frisco League teams as much as you do, or you've got some of your neighboring schools? We mentioned about St. Elizabeth here. Is that kind of a different style they play up here since they're a lot smaller schools, or is that more just, teams you're used to playing at this point?
Well, what makes this group a little different is that their offense kind of goes through their post play, to where a lot of other teams rely upon their guard play, and so it's different for this game because we have to really prioritize paint touches, second chance opportunities off offensive rebounds, to where other schools are a little more guard oriented, and where we have to close out the shooters a little harder. Depending on which guard it is, maybe sag back, maybe give them a step, or go at them. So this one's a little different because of their post play, where other towns rely upon speed and athleticism, and this one's a little more methodical.
All right, and then looking ahead into the Frisco League tournament, which started on, currently when this goes out, it'll be going on, but you'll see those Frisco League teams again, but you'll have some pretty tough competition again. The Dixon number 1 seed this year. Last year they were number 2, and then you also have Stoutland this year, who's actually ranked higher than they usually are, even though they're usually ranked lower, but they somehow still make the top 4 every season.
Right.
So how do you kind of prepare for those you get to know a lot of those teams and players pretty much as long as you've been in the Frisco League here.
Yeah, because of the timing of the Frisco League tournament, it's kind of hard to, all right, what do they bring back? What do they leave or miss? How have those guys progressed throughout the summer? And so preparing for the Frisco League tournament, it's kind of hard because, some teams don't even play first game, so it's kind of hard for me to watch film on them at some point. So it's just trying to remember what they bring back, what's their style, do they have to change their style based on who they've missed or who they lost last year. Really, I don't know. Sometimes how the tournament ends up being is not how it actually ends up at the end of the season being. So whatever the outcome is for us, we got to kind of just put our heads down and go, okay, and how do we progress off of this and just come back? And so it's hard to prepare for, but it's a good test at the beginning of the season.
Okay. And then any returning players from last year that are moving up from the JV freshman level that you're going to be looking at this year to add to some of the returning players that you've got?
Yeah, I got sophomore Ethan Evans. He was a guy who got varsity minutes last year, but now he is a full-time starter. So we'll rely upon his athleticism and playmaking abilities. I've got guys like Tucker Jones. He was my point guard last year for JV. He stepped up, and he's going to get some minutes. I have a starting freshman, Wes Jones, who was an 8th grader last year. He stepped up and will be another layer to our offense that it gives us another kick. Not a lot of guys or teams have seen him because he's a freshman, and so he may be a surprising player for some teams just because no one has seen him.
All right, appreciate it, and good luck in the Frisco League tournament and the next couple weeks there.
Appreciate it all.
All right.
Thanks.